Thank you very much for the opportunity to give this keynote speech presentation. I'll be talking on a praxis of human behavioral attributes for instant creative ideas generation. So basically, first of all, I'm a lecturer of international business and strategic management with University of Bradford, and today I'll be talking about how we as human beings can really diffuse creative ideas, generate them, and have them diffused, shared more effectively. There's so many organizations that are lacking the know-how of generating and managing creative ideas, across the globe. And it's also interesting to note that there are several behavioral attributes that either the managers or the leaders or even the subordinates could exhibit that might impair or impede the diffusion of creative ideas and even the generation of creative ideas in the first place. So we're looking at some objectives today to guide our discussion. And we'll also explore an introduction of the concepts of the creative ideas generation. I would explore some insights of probable predictors in recent findings in the literature, and also finally conclude. So as objectives, I would hope that you will be able to understand the need for the diffusion of creative ideas in a defined context. It's very important. Creative ideas, we would explore the importance of creative ideas, as that would help us to better to become better informed of the need for creative ideas. And it differs from context to context. What is a creative idea in context A might not actually be a creative idea in context B. But when you put it in a different, when you put an idea in a different context, it resonates with alternatives. So the best alternative basically is the best idea at the end of the day. So we would also explore how you can identify several human behavioral attributes for engendering creative ideas. So basically provoking it, bringing it to existence. And also examine insights of probable predictors in recent findings. As part of our introduction, we'll look at possible future prediction by 2030, and this is also part of predictions provided by the PwC company or corporation. Major insights from the PwC's 2030 predictions of the future workforce indicates several very meaningful forecasts, but some of them, or one of them, highlights that team members or employees with highly demanded skills would flourish as outdated skills seemingly become abundant over time, in the near future. So it's important for every employee or individual basically, to build upon unique skills that would still remain relevant over time. As times go by, it is apparent today in our world that technological advancement and the radical or volatility of technological change and digitalization has really impacted the business organization environment across the world, and it has provoked a lot of changes in the business environment. Interestingly, disruptive technology in the sense, and it's actually reiterates or would help us reiterate on the need for creativity, more creativity, And the more there is such disruption, the more there is a need for the organization to foster creativity, not just because you need to manage these changes, but also because you need to better understand these changes in order for you to better manage them and also better exploit them. So you need creativity for all of that. So you need a team or an individual that has the ability to generate creative ideas. In 2019, the World Economic Forum noted that the first most needed soft skill is creativity. All right, and even over recent years, in recent times, creativity is still something that, or a soft skill that cannot be done away with. It stays relevant, no matter the context, no matter the time. It still remains relevant. It's more or less as old as time itself, but it doesn't change the fact that it is always a necessity for organizational survival. So creativity is mostly about better alternatives. You can look at it as, in its materialized form as a strategy. So you can perceive it to be a strategy, but what it really is, it's just two words: better alternative. And it could be, or rather, it changes, or it tends to change depending on the context it's brought into. Therefore, engendering creative ideas could help you achieve several aims and objectives, including accomplishing your vision. So whatever vision you've got in life, whatever vision your organization have got to work with, whether in the short term or in the long term, you need creativity to actually help you guide the fruition of that alternative or creative idea. It helps you to be an established leader and driver of innovation and social impact in your region. Creativity can help you achieve that. It can also help you stay relevant over time, successfully close whatever business that you've got going on, and sustain a high impact research. You need to create new ideas, creative ideas, to fuel the new impact research you might be working on or projects. And in a nutshell, it can help you advance from point A to point B. So you see, creative ideas are important, and they are inherent drivers of creativity. And you need creativity in everyday life. And because of creativity, you can be able to achieve a lot more than you would have ordinarily achieved. So creativity is very important as you progress in your life. Note that an idea, however creative, is only just an idea until you act upon it. So if it comes to fruition, then you'll be looking at innovation, the implementation of creativity, or the fruition of creativity. So, but if it's just an idea as it is, which it's generally originates as an idea, it is just an idea if you do not work on it or act upon it. It is important for you to go beyond just the ideation phase to the fruition of that creative idea. That way, you can be able to really capture the full picture of what magnitude of creativity you may have imputed in the process of innovation. So implementing creative ideas may often require substantial human efforts. Mind works, brainstorming sessions, commitments, resources to explore and advance the ideologies that you may have obtained to process a full range of creativity available to you. So it normally requires substantial human efforts in diverse forms through human capital resources, through mental resources, through physical resources, even machineries, assets, physical assets, tangible and intangible resources. It does require a substantial amount of it. And it could also depend on the magnitude of creative idea you have, at a point in time. The greater the idea, basically, it will make sense to command more resources, to help you flesh out or bring such idea to fruition. So several people, however, exhibit less or no attributes that may otherwise help bolster creative ideas. And yeah, we live in a world that consists of complex human nature. And there are certain behavioral attributes that humans exhibit that could help to provoke more creative ideas diffusion, generation and diffusion, and impede, impair, or dampen the extent at which a creative idea could have been generated in the first place, and then the extent at which it could have been diffused within the workforce or amongst a team. So the question here, so what are some of these attributes that may have bolstered creative ideas? What are these attributes exactly, these human behavioral attributes that may have bolstered creative ideas? Let's look at what recent findings have got to say. So recent findings hold, some of part of the recent findings I've looked at hold that there's several other behavioral attributes, but we'll first of all look at two of them: trustworthiness and benevolence. Trustworthiness and benevolence are quite important. You see, trustworthiness is a driver of creative ideas generation and diffusion. Why am I saying that? First of all, you do not share your creative idea with someone you probably don't find trustworthy or you perceive not to be trustworthy. You most likely would want to share your creative idea with that person whom you deem or perceive to be trustworthy. And it takes benevolence as well to drive the diffusion of creative ideas. You at some point would feel comfortable, at ease with sharing your creative idea with someone or your supervisor or your boss, if in the event you perceive that your boss would welcome that creative idea, would be receptive to it, and would support it. In most cases, in several organizations, employees shy away from this particular task, sharing their creative ideas, because it so happens that their bosses or their boss at that point in time may not be that person that is receptive of their creative idea or wants to even support it. And over time, it tends to dampen the need for employees to even want to generate creative ideas. And this could be very terrific for the organization when the organization lacks creative ideas or a pool of creative workforce. If employees think or conclude in their minds among themselves that, well, the organization doesn't care about my creative idea, so why would I even want to bother, generating one in the first place? Well, yeah. So there's no need. You see, they just think, they conclude like that. It dampens the extent at which creative ideas could have been generated in the first place. And I got these findings from recent studies. Two of them I published in 2018, one of which was published in American Journal of Business, and the other was published in the Journal of Business Research. These are quite very good top journals. Interestingly, it's one of my findings. The paper published in American Journal of Business by Emerald won an award, a highly commended award in 2019. This is a global recognition for that, and a testament of the impact of that particular paper. More on what's possible or probable positive predictors we would find can be found from or obtained from these papers here. These are some of my works. One of them published in Journal of Cleaner Production in 2020, and the other in FIB Business Review in 2020 as well. So what do they say precisely? Some of the findings relate that leaders' integrity is a key factor that drives the diffusion of creative ideas. And recruitment and selection, the kind of talent pool you recruit, all right, and select is also an important factor. How you recruit them, okay, the kind of behavior you exhibit whilst recruiting these talents and selecting them to join the workforce is very important. It could also help to either foster the intake, onboarding of talents, basically, that can help to foster creative or engender creative ideas. Consistent training and inclusion and development is another key important factor. You need to consistently nurture, give an opportunity for inclusion, of these talents in maybe decision making and all that, creative relative processes, and also get initiatives, in play that can help develop their talents, whilst working for you. These are important drivers or predictors of creative ideas generation and diffusion. Leaders' integrity. If I see that you do not have an integrity, you do not hold the required level of integrity I need, it could make me not to want to share my creative idea with you. Of course, this is a creative idea in the first place, a better alternative. And if I see that you don't hold enough, you're not someone with integrity, then I would not want to share my creative idea with you. It's as simple as that. So these are some of the findings we got from this research projects. And interestingly, our paper published in FIB Business Review just recently won an award, a high impact research award. That's a very, very good achievement. So basically, in this project of creative ideas generation and diffusion, I've actually received 2 awards, one a global award and one a journal related award as well. So it's very, very important, an international award basically. Let's look at some other interesting insights from recent findings. So we also found in some of our publications, some of my publications as well, that leaders' supportive nature and capabilities, ability to apply creative efforts, innovative evidence, and reputation are very important factors to consider. The leader has to be supportive of creative idea, and the nature of their support, is important. And the question you ask again is: are they capable? Are they capable to deliver or to support that idea. So just because a leader is willing to support, if the leader is not capable of doing it, you see, it questions the final results, after all. And also their ability to apply the creative efforts. Okay, do they have the ability? Do they have the experience? Do they have are they fully equipped mentally, maybe, to apply, demonstrate that creative effort, the creative effort needed to support the creative idea. Another one is innovative evidence. Do they have any evidence that speaks, for them, that precedes them, sort of tells us that they are, they are worthy of supporting our creative ideas and also helping us to implement the creative ideas? Do they have a reputation that precedes them to that effect? Because these are factors inherently built, or that inherently undergirds the people or the leaders or the team members we would want to share our creative ideas with. If you know me as someone that has a reputation to support, to first of all welcome and then support, and help you apply your creative idea, you just don't need to meet me in person initially. Knowing that knowing that I've got a reputation for that is in some cases would be a very major step to convince you that, oh, okay, that's my guy, that's the person that I want to share my creative idea with. All right, and this was gotten from one of my studies published in Business Creativity and the Creative Economy Journal in 2018. Also, we found that employee empowerment, listening, and open communication between leaders and employees, fulfillment of promises, leaders being able to fulfill the promises made to employees, and openness to change and flexible control are also effective drivers that can help to foster the generation and diffusion of creative ideas. More on this is another very important finding that we got published in Sustainable Production and Consumption Journal, a very, very interesting journal as well. We found that leaders' trustworthiness, the ability to apply creative efforts, benevolence, perceived green reputation are also very important, especially when you're looking at green creativity or creative ideas that are specifically generated and implemented to foster environmental sustainability. All right, so we found that these factors are key. All right, they are necessities, imperative drivers of the generation and diffusion of creative ideas. Furthermore, we found that encouraging digital task interdependence behaviors among teams is another driver, because when you're looking at today's rapid advancement in digitalization, you realize that there's an acute need for interdependence, even so much more through a digital mechanism and platform that can undergird the process of interchange or exchange of creative ideas across borders and around the globe. So we found that the ability to encourage digital task interdependence behaviors, whereby teams can depend on each other digitally, and they can rely on that, building that kind of culture, across borders through digital platforms, is also another important avenue for bolstering creativity willingness, which is also or has to do with the diffusion of creative ideas, or the sharing or generation of creative ideas, and the willingness to do so in the first place. More on this we found in another study published in Business Strategy and the Environment Journal. We found that demonstrating expertise in a defined task is another key part has another key part to play. So the leader or the team member needs to be able to demonstrate expertise in a defined task. So if you're able to do that, it can signal, to the other team members that you can be relied upon, to handle a creative idea. So that can inadvertently help to boost the generation and diffusion willingness of creative ideas amongst team members. And the ability to inspire motivation among teams. If the team members are not inspired, they're not motivated rather, then you don't really get the creative idea you seek, because they would not want to subject themselves to generate creative ideas in the first place. So inspiring motivation among teams is very important. In conclusion, the first most needed soft skill for the future is most likely going to be creativity. Absolutely. I believe this. And it's not just about my belief per se, it's also underpinned by the literature and future predictions of world recognized bodies like PwC and others. Creativity may be potential, but engendering a creative idea is a choice. You've got to know that. You would significantly benefit from a pool of creative ideas to get much closer to achieving its vision and to sustain its aim. And an idea, however creative, is only just an idea until it's acted upon. And your workforce or your organization can engender creative ideas by improving upon their human behavioral attributes today. So if you're a leader or a supervisor or basically a team member, you can engender creative ideas by improving upon your human behavioral attributes today. You're welcome to connect with me through my YouTube page. Please subscribe to Learning Elites. So if you just check that out on YouTube, Learning Elites, you should be able to find the YouTube page, and please subscribe and share amongst your network. You can take a picture of this in your mobile phone or whatever device you have with you, just to be able to have access to the links hereafter. So that's my LinkedIn handle, Ugbayibu Samuel PhD, and also please, you're welcome to join the fast-growing Research on Creativity and Innovation Facebook group. This group is made up of or consists of experts from across the world. We have top-tier industry experts and also academics, professors, senior professors, editors, and associate editors of top-tier journals. So please feel free to join along and help your career along the way. So these are some references you can hang on to just in case you need one. All right, and thank you for your attention. I would welcome questions now. Thank you very much.